Subhanallah.
Good evening and welcome to another edition of the Then and Now program. As usual, I'm your host and presenter, Prince Emil Komari Kanto. This evening, this morning, this afternoon, wherever you are, today is the 29th of March. Wow, the month they can done very, very soon. This is just an update and a quick broadcast, and it's dedicated to the First Lady, Madam Fatima Bio. The reason why we decided to do this broadcast because we talked about yesterday, and of course, whenever the First Lady speaks, now controversy is now a controversy. Both the one they will like the one they will not like and some others we can just look through what he say, how it is, how relevant it is, and at the time that it was being said, what is supposed for me. So if I can recall Fambulem on yesterday, social media been a trend because the previous day or the day before, the First Lady speak to the Marconi Times. And inside that speech they will make, there is one particular statement where he make, we capture people's attention, including myself, because I did broadcast on that. And that's about the issue of mob justice. So it's not only the word, it's the context in which the word is used. It's the way the word was used, the intended purpose. Because what of us say no more, it called the word and then suddenly it became an issue. So what I want to do tonight, I want to do some bit of reflection. I want to look at the meaning of mob justice. And just before we go to that, I know something. Spare me 1 minute, please, if you will, because I want to make sure we capture this. We capture this proper in terms of the voice. I want to understand exactly why we decide for bring this back come up. Why we decide for say we can't unpack what the First Lady say. There's a particular reason why, absolutely. And what we know is this, yeah? Fambule, we find no pleasure in trying to ridicule anybody, not much more with First Lady. But sometimes we need deep reflection when we talk about things, how we talk about things. So like I been say, when we went on social media after this story break regarding what the First Lady say, of course, everybody gets inside. But common sense in the end must prevail because even your side, my side, their side, our side, somewhere in the middle stands the truth. And that truth, it comes as a consequence of sober reflection, which now you want to do again. So as soon as a break where we self talk about and other people they talk about some people then say you don't watch the entire tape, which of course I did. And I particularly went onto this particular phrase where this woman used, where the First Lady used. So having said or spoken against the usage of that word day, that phrase day, the context in which it was used, I thought, it made a lot of sense. But then as usual, every time she speaks, it becomes really, really controversial. So we decide to take a second look. So therefore, go revisit the tape ordering and I listen. And then I reflect on what the people let me try for say those way side with the First Lady. And when they side with the First Lady, and the reason, because now the conclusion what I come to, there was so much outcry and call for go and watch the tape. And I watched the tape. It didn't make any difference, I must say. Because I've been on watching when I capture on that particular phrase where the First Lady used, mob justice. So when I look back, I see no difference. I cannot understand what the First Lady they try for say, and I reflect with them. And I stand with them, what they try for say, which now generally the protection of the state. So we get that. So smart people and others then understand did think that it was unfair that people and they pick on what the First Lady say, or a particular, almost like a sound bite politicians, they can do a lot. Adversaries, they can do a lot. Protagonists, antagonists, they can do a lot for dismember, for destroy their opponents. But this is not a case of this particular word number the First Lady used, for goodness sake. So the ante been there so much up, it's like, go and look or listen to the entire tape which are done. But because of the cry get louder, the tape. So I told myself, I said, probably I missed something. So let me go back to the tape. So I listened to the tape twice more. And in fact, what I learned from the tape make me even, determined for come back and can't talk, because I still stand on my position. The First Lady, the use of the phrase there, we go mob justice una, is totally uncalled for. Looking at it from a wider context, where people in the try for say, when we self understand, waiting in First Lady in the drive at, no excuse them, and I repeat, no excuse them from using such a derogatory, such a language where not belong to the mouth, nor the office of the First Lady. This First Lady gets a choice of words she could have used. You could understand the frustration, because when you look at the depth of the interview, it wasn't even an interview. She was speaking, trying to make her position known. You can understand the frustration, but understanding the frustration does not mean in any sense, say the word, we go mob justice una, call for. It's totally uncalled for. And Fambul and I make a one that we look at waiting na the meaning of mob justice. Okay? It's not like some of us not waiting at the meaning of mob justice. I know say the people the way they watch, very intelligent people and the rest of it, but remember say an opinion talk here, public opinion talk. So we try to see how much we can kind of understand ourselves in terms of the current state of argument regarding the First Lady of the Republic. So when we talk about mob justice, Fambulem, we talk about extrajudicial actions. I repeat, when we talk about mob justice, we talk about extrajudicial actions. We can equally ask ourselves, within an extrajudicial, which means that within the judicial system, we do things them where they outside of them. And within the judicial system mean that are the laws the way they govern we, who side and they make, in other words, the rule of justice of a rule-based system, now in cover we all. So acting outside of it, which is extrajudicial, now there you go, you're reading terminology there, mob not belong to government. This now mafia term, this now drug dealer term, and is totally does not belong to the office nor to the First Lady of the country. Okay, so let me say the First Lady will use the word. So we begin to look at it from a wider context. Say, in which case, or what did she mean or meant when he used the word or the phrase? Yeah, we go mob justice now. You can see directly she was speaking to the Sierra Leonean people, a portion of them, who violate the things that we would try for put in place for make sure say the country is safe. But all of that does not amount to mob justice, not at all. We know say when we talk about justice in Africa, because we don't see how many times, not a good thing at all. So acting outside of the judicial process is criminal in itself. It's really, really criminal. Mob justice now when you go run behind somebody, where somebody allegedly committed a crime because a man is innocent until proven guilty. So allegedly somebody committed a crime or they holla thief and everybody begin run towards that person. And when they run towards that person and catch that person, they will know normally what they can do to that person. They beat them, violate everything about that. And in some cases, then kill them brutally, which is taking the law into your own hands. Ladies and gentlemen, you cannot be saying that the First Lady of the Republic will be saying these things. So intention could be different. Now, he made those of una where they support them, suppose for first of all, condemn the usage of that kind of language there, and then we can go into, notice the First Lady be mean, the choice of words was poor, We don't see them before people and they come out, senior people and serious people and they come out and say the choice of words were poor. It was poor, very, very poor. That una we go mob justice una. What in a mob that the rule of injustice, the rule of mob. Are we saying she's implying that administration is a mob administration? Because that's it mean the rule of mob justice. Your own citizens, in which the law of the land is taken into the hands of the few and the powerful. Now, it make the first lady not for me not use any language such as that one. Nothing at all if we not do them. The best thing for do now, those of us who are siding with the first lady, who are pretending intentionally, unintentionally, for understand where she's coming from, will first of all have to apologize either in her behalf or ask the first lady, do ya now for apologize for this terminology where you use because it not go down well. And looking at it from a common sense point of view, looking at it from a contextual sense, is abusive. Very, very abusive. Okay? Very. And that not only go to the people the way we speak to, but also to the administration of in husband. Because you they intimate, you they infer, you they insinuate that if we go for mob justice una, that means we will be acting outside of the law. So that means me man in administration is a mob administration, a mobster administration, because we will be mobbing people. We will be, going into inflicting injustice on people. We will be taking the law out of the courts, out of the judicial system, to inflict summary justice right there where it happened. Seriously? So we don't understand waiting at this mob justice. We're not a good word at all, especially coming from somebody so powerful, so much of influence. And I hope, say, those of una will get contact with the first lady, because even you want them around the first lady, why una not for able for, you don't see waiting happen on social media and go back to the first lady and una sit down and talk reasonable conversation like adults. Like this talk not go down well, or una pick up the dictionary, una look at waiting mobster mean, waiting mob justice mean. Una look inside the word derived from. Una look how it's being used, especially so within the African context. Is this what the first lady was intimating, that this is what is to come? The rule of mob justice, implying that the administration is ruled by mobsters? And mind you, this is not what I'm saying of the administration. It's about the implication of what the first lady say. There is no place for that in the Sierra Leonean society. No place for that. We've been through our ups and downs. We've had, our worst moments in the history of the country. Couple of them. The worst one was in the 90s, the Rebel Civil War, where thousands and thousands of compatriots died. We make this democracy where we cannot enjoy, where we don't hold couple of free and fair elections, the change of governments, the law, the upholding of principles, and the judicial system, and the legislative system, and the executive system are all working somehow. And then here somewhere, somebody is calling for mob justice, and some of us are trying to provide excuse by saying we understand why it is said so. As if the other people are not understanding, simply because they disagree with the use of the word mob justice. We go mob justice, some of una. That is truly, sincerely not called for. We international partners go frown on this. The people within will frown on this. Those of you that have got contact with the first lady, we get some kind of freedom. Those of us that have got some kind of freedom, some kind of leverage. What I mean by this, some degree of independence, because the one the way they inside it might just be afraid to tell her, even though they're just supposed to get frank discussions. They might be afraid, but if you're there, you get you penny, and you're independent, you no owe obligation to anyone, then maybe you might be able to speak your mind in a fair, open sense. But I mean, I scorched the entire social media yesterday and today, and waiting I see and hear from some people and what I get deep regard and respect for look at the word where the woman use and provide an excuse because we people in Tranga is. But then Europe, then Americas, then the general Western world, they are not calling for mob justice because then they call for justice outside and not day. And knowing fully well the consequence of mob justice that for run BM people them, batter them up, like some archaic period in the history of the world, some uncivilized period in the history of the world, then sit down there comfortably. And the point here is, for most things, we is violated here as well. You put a sanction and people then bust the sanctions. Then they cage people in a park, then they cage people them outside, partying and the rest of it. Even though the government of then country there, Italy, UK, and the rest of it, they don't declare, say, don't do this, but then continue for doing. But then find a civilized way for handling mob justice. And the worst thing is, you are not calling for mob justice here for the same crime where people and they commit down na freetown, where you they call for mob justice or they back the people that we say we should apply mob justice to them. Ebo, inside the 21st century, after all this suffer, we don't suffer. And let me make this clear. We clearly understand the frustrations. We clearly understand the attitude of we people them. We clearly understand the violations. We clearly understand the responsibility of the leadership in trying to prevent this disease, this infection, this virus from taking over now in country. So hence, things has to be put in place. But there is something also which is important, which is you have to rule by example. You have to rule by example. You know when they tell people and say, una no gather, they yourself they go gather. You know when they tell people and say, a closed church, a closed mosque, and then schools are open. You know when they tell people, they say, not do this, we are not come together, we are not party, and what have you, yet people and they go markets. So you get forget one precise and concise policy for deal with the situation. That shows a level of leadership and sincerity. That's what it is. And then people will follow, and then people will take you seriously, and people know that this is no joke. But then you can't call a press conference and then all go assemble day. You can't get some parts in Freetown in which people are allowed to converge. Like big man, they get nightclub. Where the nightclub, then they go open. And they're even being protected by law enforcement officers paid by the taxpayer. That cannot be serious. So Fambulema need for move on. And I hope say we get this really clear, because the language used by the First Lady, mob justice, where they begin for use them back in the 1800s, it not bode well at all. It not mean say you only pronounce them. It's there's an intent behind them. And he say them clearly, we go begin for mob justice. And just remember the implication, just remember the definition, just remember what mob justice stand for, especially so now back home. We don't see them many times when you get vigilante groups, lawless groups, and in most times directed by government officials. In most times directed by government officials. The reason why I say so, because to be a breakdown of law and order, where vigilante groups can be on the rise, and then where the strong survive, I make them call on jungle justice, because there's no law and order, everybody they on their own. So if you're stronger than me, at the count with me one corporate, so I don't go look for, you able beat me and take them from me, you able even for take me life, because there's no law and order. So within the same vein, you cannot say you have law and order, they prevail in the country, and they call jungle justice. Then where is the justice anyway? Where is the justice system? And waiting at the wider implication. How do we look on the outside? That the 21st century, we still run behind people and brutalize them. But I sure say me First Lady, not to that it mean. So, we'll find for, let we get clarification. We go come out for can't clarify exactly what the First Lady mean. Nobody is big enough. Nobody is greater enough than the Sierra Leonean people. No one, not the president, not the First Lady. You might have a term in office, and that term in office will come to an end at some point. But even whilst you are in office, You are a servant of the people, that even when you speak it to them, you speak to them with respect and dignity, because the people of Sierra Leone, they deserve nothing less. You don't have to be condescending to them. You don't have to be patronizing to them. You just treat them with respect. You can't cry down the market people, throw them under the bus or aeroplane, and then within the same turn, 360 degrees, and then you want to shout out, I respect all the market people and looking up to them, whereas in the same vein, you just condemn them earlier. They are not of worth. They're not even reached to my finger. Fambulem, we say we they unpack the First Lady in speech where he make, and that's exactly we want to do this evening. Okay, we they unpack the First Lady in speech, and this is what we want to do here this evening. While we do on this evening, I just want to recognize a few people. Not everybody can let you recognize them, but other few people can let you recognize them. And this now to Sister Tutu Lehamid. Welcome to the program. The Great Shiba Concept, Laura, welcome to the program. Awa Kamara, Dennis Ahmed Modu, Zainab Kelly, and all the others that have joined the program. Dear Beg, allow we share this audio and this video. It's really necessary for that we do so that our people are really not left out of this particular program. The coffee they go cold. We promise that we go unpack the First Lady in program. And waiting at this unpacking where we do. We don't talk about the mob justice thing. And I don't give reasons why we go into that, because all over social media, of course, every time the First Lady speaks, it becomes so heated, so controversial. And you can see the reason why. And that we just try for outline in the case of mob justice, explain them proper. And I don't see how this can be broken, less than this. That are not supposed to use the word mob justice within the context in which you use them, whether or not because he angry that people and they bust the sanction, not me say he get for use word as such. The people of Sierra Leone needs better, and there should be an apology from the office of the First Lady. Now that any sensible people will do, any sensible administration, now that nine will do, because the backlash is too much. It's obvious that the First Lady get people them will not go like them. It's obvious that the First Lady get people them will be envious of them. It's obvious that the First Lady get people them who will be jealous of them. It's obvious, okay? But within the same vein, if you they give people them the ammunition for letting get at you, then you get for look now your backyard first or under your own foot and ask yourself, what am I doing wrong? How can I endear myself to my people? And I will come to that. But there is no way, simply because people and they bust the sanction, they do something so wrong, it's as if law and order don't broken down. Now you're calling for mob justice, which by implication will be the rule of mob. And this come up from a high-profile person as the First Lady, which means that it comes with some gravitas. Englishman say it comes with some if you know what I mean. Fambule, we say we go bro the mommy in talk. So let we go to straight away. Let we go to straight away. I make clearly notes. Okay. The mommy begin with 121 days of this particular coronavirus thing, where in many respects, na blessing for Mama Salome that we not get this virus reported officially yet. So we get to go with the official narrative. As I say, yesterday in my broadcast, when it comes to rumors, when it comes to conspiracy, nothing is real, nothing is confirmed until it is officially denied. So for now, as far as we're concerned, we know say coronavirus, Sierra Leone is COVID free, COVID-19 free. So 21 days since this disease broke up in China. It don't grip the rest of the Western world, in which capitalism, for tell you how serious it is, has been shut down. Which man they play with your money business? You can play with any other thing. Just like when they say, you can play with your mama in Bobby, but your daddy they play around them. Now the same thing with money, play with the money. Which are they try for say, where you see them lock down the industry, the Musa money they generate, where they cost them billions, if not trillions. And thousands and thousands don't die. Thousands and thousands more will die. We've just been advised by the USAID, the UK, by the PM, the Prime Minister, and his spokesperson, that there was a statement today from the PM, and he gave a right letter to all the people that within this country. That letter they gave for come through with letterbox, in which it is a primary for what is to come, which is going to be worse before it get better. There is going to be a storm before the calm. So we know say 121 days they don't go on. So Fatima Bio begin very, very, I mean, she started off so cheerful. We begin this talk here. It be cheerful, and she said the right things, 121 days. But going through them, the first thing we say is praise the Sierra Leonean people, because this was an effort of the Sierra Leonean people. Of course, therefore praise the leadership, because there's a leadership. But by then, 121 days or 100 days ago, the leadership not done anything tangible for put in place for say, waiting we don't avoid thus far was due to the leadership, because it's not like a state of emergency to prevent the entry of the disease had been proclaimed. It's not like the airport and the borders had been closed. So this was a thorough effort of the Sierra Leonean people, and by God in grace, the people continue to enjoy a COVID-19 free atmosphere. So if I don't say that within the last 20 days, within the last 15 days, when government begin to take measures, because there were noise, when our voices were heard there, but collectively, those of us that are criticizing constructively, we know we have been heard, and we come to that. The ISO way greets the people in Alunge. The president go in Alunge with a high-powered delegation for creation program for sensitize with people about this coronavirus and waiting for do. In other words, they begin for prepare the nation about the coronavirus. What you want for do? And you know, say largely now way president put foot and put hand and put mouth 19 and they pick up. So what he do? He go na Lunge day. He go, yep, and this talk. He visit some border town, I think Balamuya and other border areas. Then set up the Lunge Airport Hotel as a quarantine center. I really don't want to go there again, because we know few days later, it was such an eyesore, waiting with Yeri, waiting commodity. A complete eyesore, my people. Okay? We get for talk about that day again. We get for left small and talk small and left small. So anyway, that was sorted. So the bottom line is, after over 100 days, nothing was really tangibly done for avert this COVID-19 not coming into the country. Instead, there were negative reports that we heard, the landing of a Kenyan Airways, a supposedly COVID-19 infected passenger was aboard, how other people were let in, right under the noses of government officials, of police officers, of law enforcement officers, where I think they don't make the First Lady really upset. So that 100 days day, we were all in this together, and the First Lady said it nicely that we are all in this together, and if you want to say thank you to all Sierra Leoneans. So he praised the Sierra Leonean people for the effort in trying to be collaborative with the Republic, and including the government of the Republic under the leadership of her husband, retired Brigadier, His Excellency Julius Maada Bio. After it don't praise them, it comes to the point where he say now for talk through, where he talk about the closure of border. That the reason why they take the closure of the border, now the speech will cause the controversy, where we pick the word mob justice away from, where we capitalize on that. They're not intentionally, but it be necessary for people to understand who side this mob justice word they come out, which was completely wrong, completely uncalled for, but I don't deal with them. But of course, we will talk about anecdotally, intermittently, as we continue with this broadcast here tonight. So, it go on for talk, beautiful. It's beautifully. The closure of the border, not for one person, but rather that for all men. In other words, waiting in the try for avat, now to the benefit of the entire populace of the republic. It's not only for a group of people. Okay? It's not only for a group of people. The first lady also go on for say, anytime where you go and go visit in center, I mean the diversion they begin. And make us say this. I get dozens of calls and messages in which people and see them differently. Most of my friends, we did disagree for agree, but we get in arguments, they are back and forth. Hence why I dealt with this mob justice thing, for that we understand, first of all, the historical narrative of mob justice, Usai Komo, the people the way they use the language and why then they use them, what it mean within a judicious system, how mob justice, when applied, it apply outside of the law, and by implication, it means that the country not get law. So therefore, she cannot be saying that her husband's administration is one of mob justice. So now that making no need for say and so. So that's no excuse for she saying it. She shouldn't have said it anyway. So it go on for talk about, and I did the diversion begin, because they talk about feeding programs because they've got people that are quarantined, okay? So in the feed them people and they say anytime where you go visit them facility, then if you observe anything, in go and come back to government. Of course, that would be the wisest of moves for reporting to government. You don't take action yourself, Madam First Lady. You can report on to the appropriate office, and then the appropriate office take action. It will be a good thing that a powerful woman like you will take action by following the rule of law and not passing order so that mob justice can be meted out to with people in police uniform or with security agencies, and those one the way they provide a quarantine measure and are breaking the rules. There is a way to deal with them. So it say it go to government responsible. So then people that were quarantine, the first lady go for say, even in young Peking, and there was a stress on that, of course you can understand, then at the nature of motherhood and the situation. Even my own son is quarantined, which I find as double standard because of the emphasis where they try for lay on that. Because if this were not double standard, she has subjected herself to being quarantined when he returned to the office, I mean back into the country from a trip abroad, from some side USA we understand say COVID-19, at least they may get 1 or 2 person there, or whether they not be get person there, the idea that it come out at the time, come on mix with other people them, means say if we don't go into self-quarantine, self-isolation, instead a risk and puts the presidency in jeopardy, because the presidency, if the mommy be infected, if we don't pass down it to the PA, and the PA himself will have become infected, thereby making them not able for doing duty as per the requirement of the Constitution of the Republic of Sierra Leone. That in itself was a risk taking. So coming back and saying my own son was quarantined, which is a good thing, but we they say that is a bit rich, because it should have been you in the first place. We don't set the example. Hence, one of the things they will say, you need to rule by an example. Going back to the first lady, she also said that, while they address this issue of security at the border, and how many of them then deserve justice, which are they try for say, the people then at the border where they under their measure they are for protect the borders, we apparently or allegedly, and let me take note of the word. You see, the first lady is way off the mark in terms of this remark we make. I hate for go back there. But in mob justice, it means say the idea that the first lady go na the place, na the quarantine center, because she mentioned it, that it can go na the quarantine center because there are people, I believe, where they feed every day as an initiative of the office of the first lady. The idea that she goes there and finds something amiss, that something they go wrong, that people in the smuggle people in and out, which is not allowed under the quarantine measure, and then we go mob justice some of una, our courts, in inverted commas, we go mob justice some of una, then minus the law on the basis of suspicion, on the basis of allegation, on the presumption of innocent until proven guilty, and then you go mob justice somebody. whose message will you send to the rest of the people? Because you make let them panic, let them afraid you, let them afraid the administration. Is it mob justice? Is that what you're talking about, really, Madam First Lady? And those of the people that are making the claim for you that this is not what you're saying should be sending a message to you directly for let you official and come out, an official or two come out, and can address this issue waiting you be mean. This thing needs to be serious. We cannot allow the first lady of the country, they use mob language. This is a very powerful woman. We cannot allow her without calling her out for what it is for using the language of mobsters, of drug kingpins. No way. This is not allowed at all. The Sierra Leonean people deserve better. We don't have to continue speaking to our people condescendingly, patronizingly, fiti, finger pointing, upset with them. No, this is the time for humility. This is the time for courage and strength. Let me go back to the First Lady, okay? First Lady say, me, when I see me, so I know they pan Congo business. Well, it's good that you know they pan Congo business. And I must commend them for that. Because I sure say within the context, what it mean, you know, they go talk thing and the staff will be here. Even when talk something, it will come from here. The only thing is, when you can't talk the way I talk, that's where the problems, I believe, come from. Somebody just made a comment. Let me read a few comments. The border force are endangering their lives to keep our country safe. Not all of them will be corrupt. They need training, and the sister is absolutely right. And this is what we are talking about. And these are the rubrics of a democracy. These are the rubrics of the rule of law. Absolutely spot on, sister. They need training. They need to be told. There are punishments for that. Okay? You see, Madam First Lady, one thing you need to know is these services, the police, the immigration, the army, these are sororities, these are brotherhoods, these are societies. You need to understand them as such, although we country divisive. You touch one, you touch all, because it's the same uniform, it's the same oath of office that they all take. You can't separate the other. Now, the same thing Francis Ben Kaifala been do when you go name and shame teachers them, and not be even understand the ramification, but you see how it backfires seriously, both at home and abroad. That should have been a lesson to learn. And the only thing we cool them down, now when the president of the republic come out and apologize in behalf of his government and the nation, because that was a barbaric act, very uncivilized act in the 21st century for go hang news around people and and belong to a society. You know, we know say teaching na union, and the union not only national but also regional and international. You touch one, you touch all. Madam First Lady, this the same thing apply to these police people, and the sister just make a contribution, and she's spot on. I think you need to be listening to some of this. The training is needed, conscientization is needed, incentive is needed, because there's a risk than life day. You tell them about they risk their life with the action we suspect say that they do. The idea of being there alone is risking their lives for the nation. So they should be encouraged. Una need for the organized facilities for them, training, workshops, for continue for tell them and home the message. Not for come out in a burst of anger and begin, here for accuse them and threaten them with mob justice. Law enforcement officers are being threatened with mob justice by the First Lady of the Republic. Where is the head of state, for goodness sake? Let's go back again to Madam First Lady. First Lady said, of course, in order for Congosa business, people in the Tottenham suitcase and come. Did you notice a tinge of Nigerian accent there? People might say, they pick on something we're not relevant. But we did scrutinize the entirety, because that's what you people wanted me to do. I tried to avoid that. I've been listening to them twice. Okay? I understand who side the First Lady been come from. I was just deeply opposed to her making a statement which she should not be making in any kind, way, shape, or form, where we want for, salad dress, the talk we talk. for let we understand, say, oh, you know, now because we people in Trangaes, now because we people in, but you did a Western world, yeah, where people in bust the sanction, you know, they call for mob justice. But you home, Musa, you come outside, you farm, you they call for mob justice. And understanding what mob justice is, where you know, now outside of the rule of law, in which powerful people and they take action against other people, where most powerful, and then brutalize them, hang noose na the neck, hang tire na the neck, and burn them before the whole world they see. That's what you're calling for. And then the First Lady said something of that nature, which it might be that the First Lady misspoke. Hence the reason why people need for come out, for can clarify that First Lady in statement. And it will be a good practice, Madam First Lady. It will be a good practice for the government of Sierra Leone. It will be a good practice for different administration, for come out and can clarify some of their statement there. Because the statement did not go down well at all. It just left people divided, in which people in a way appreciate the First Lady anyhow without condition, are backing the First Lady, and they try for provide excuses for them, saying, well, now because you know, yeah, the people in Trangai, even the people in Trangai is that what they deserve? Mob justice? Are you really in the right state of mind? They say that if I go put tie up on people then summary execution, summary justice, extrajudicial killing or actions outside of the law in a country, you know, which pride itself or supposed for pride itself in the rule of law, not in the rule of mobster or jungle justice? I don't think so. That's why the First Lady need for come out, or in people, instead of not even need for come out before another controversy again, because she's an outspoken First Lady, and in so doing, I wish she can just choose the moments, sort of words and language where they can carefully prime for win people them over. But no, so let the official and come out and can make excuses. Okay, how can you beat and slap people them inside uniform? In fact, when I listen to this language, when I really listen to this language, how can you beat in as much as you upset with them, in as much as they're breaking the laws, in as much as you are frustrated? How can you come on national media and say you will be kicking, you will be slapping people who are uniform officers of the Republic of Sierra Leone, people employed by the state, paid by the people, that you go to slap them and kick them simply because you're upset or some actions where then they do? Madam First Lady, message for you. We equally upset like you do. We equally not like waiting and they do, but they not deserve that mob justice. No, there's a rule of law, and you know that. The administration knows that. Okay, let me read one or two contribution quick. Let me see how they channel their flow, whether they are mix-ups, you know, because people can get different views. You don't love our party more than we accept the way Our Lady did. She is rude for a First Lady. Let us not give a blind eye. She needs to apologize to Salon. I voted for Bio. Okay, so sound very much like somebody voted for the SLPP and her husband. And let me just send an observation quickly. While we are addressing the issues of the First Lady, I am kindly appealing to the forum. I am kindly appealing to those who are active in the chat room to exercise some restraint, some caution in terms of the language used towards her. We need for sure that we are better. We need for rise above the challenges. Let us not get pulled down, because that will not go down well. You see, the choices of words can vary, and then variation, and if we use them appropriately, it sends a more powerful message than waiting other people then go use. Okay, so please, Famulem, let we try for, you know, yeah, take the word, I mean, maintain some quorum and show some regard. Right. So you cannot slap people in uniform. That's completely unacceptable. The police, law enforcement officers, the brotherhoods, these are sororities, these are clubs. They look after, or supposed to look after each other. They are uniform. That's why you're squad mates, classmates, and what have you. There is a bond. There is. So when you offend one, you offend all. Now, it make not a selective justice you use, now national justice you use for penalize them when they are found wanting. The First Lady also talk about social media, okay? And this na day it begin for expose insect family. You see, at some point, it's clear if you go listen back to the social media thing. We say the social media really don't get to the First Lady. It really don't get to the First Lady, when they can say it get under your skin. You need for listen to the up and the down. You need for listen to the speech. Now that's when I ask for them we do. The statement where the First Lady make. When it comes to social media, it say, this country, I swear to God, something wrong with una. You see, sometimes can speak about herself in the second person and sometimes in the third person. Consistency in a thing way good. Now I make some people and say it was a rant. I don't necessarily agree with the word, but in that speech, in that statement, I would rather use a more appropriate word in which I think it wasn't coherent. It was incoherent because a language supposed for flow. But in this case, it wasn't, because there were times like how it begin fine one, like the mommy of the nation. And then not too long, bam, now the First Lady begin for fire on all cylinders. In so doing, of course, Namotamani exposing frailty. And then when it comes to the social media, it also expose how the social media don't get to in skin, under in skin. Let we look why we say so, together with we people the way they watch. And one statement where it make where pick up on. You see, one moment, of course, the First Lady they on record for say in a Gambian. And then at other moments, there are arguments amongst us. And when I say it's say in a Gambian, remember, I'm on the record. I not say it's say in a Gambian because I want pull and come out inside the nature of we country, or say it not deserve USA ide or in a foreign element. No. That's not what I mean. And for clarify that, family, me self we sit on a foreign and I'm married. So you know say I love foreigners. Definitely. My wife is a foreigner. The woman we born me picking them, she's foreign. Okay. So not to that I mean. Waiting, I mean, inside this speech, it begin fine. Talk about we, because this thing we did inside them collectively. When it comes to the social media and something we been say about this country, I swear, something wrong with una. This not a collective again, oh, not a we, if you understand where I'm coming from. It's una, which means that she is not part and parcel of that thing we can argue where they say wrong with the Sierra Leonean people. Remember, I've been addressed the entire Sierra Leonean, something wrong with una. So she is extracted from that particular argument, okay? It go on for repeat for 121 days, but we not clap for Mother Bio, okay? I mean, there's nothing wrong. The leadership can take of course they were responsible, take the ownership, the leadership campaign where they pan in terms of avoiding this disaster, like in all kind of the country. So yes, 121 days, although largely it was by virtue, the one that we believe in God, now by virtue of God, God in mercy over the people them. And I've been to say officially, if there is no denial, because some people and believe say they did already, then of course, from an official level, we have to accept that we have been COVID-19 free. So even though now the last 20 days, 15 days, government begin for take actions, tangible ones where we see, feel, and yeri, where there more enforcement principles there now, 100 days, Sierra Leonean people been there for themselves, up and down, they go about their activities. So we thank God for waiting they unfold now. When they see government, they take action, we then rubber key to them around. We accept, we appreciate, and yes, let we tell government thank you, because we get for encourage government, for let government continue for do all in power remember, now part of, that's government duty for do all in power for protect the Sierra Leonean people. The first responsibility of a government, the government of retired Brigadier His Excellency Julius Maada Bio, is the security of the country and by default, its people, the occupants them. And we hope that continues. So yes, let me clap for Bio, and I clap for the president. The first lady, of course, will never avoid a hint. So he dropped another bomb. You know what he said? He said, if not yesterday, like something else don't happen. Which, by implication, you know what he talk, una way politically savvy, that the previous government, if not been attempted, like by now, na different story now they talk. This come up from the first lady. Go find, listen to their speech there, okay? If not yesterday, something for me not happened by now. So let me commend this particular government, my husband in government. He said clearly, we clap for the president, and Mr. just don't clap for the president, because we have to give that to the administration. By God in power, by the president in initiative. So far, so good. We are COVID-19 free. Okay? So we therefore pray for that COVID-19 not enter at this particular point in time. Okay? They look at waiting for those of whom we just join. We define look at Lady Fatima Bio, a statement where he made quite recently, where caused controversy. People like Holland. And others they say they're not right. Some people they say rant, others they're not right. Okay. So at some point, the first lady realizing the talk when they talk, members say beaucoup accusation on there against this first lady that they interfere too much into government business, that she's more political than ceremonial first lady, interfering both at party levels inside the SLPP party, interfering both at party levels and get a caller. Spare me one moment, Fambolem. Hello, caller.
Hello?
Yeah, you want to make contribution to the show?
Yes.
Okay, just hold your line there. Just to develop some thoughts quickly, and I will get back to you if you don't mind, please.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. So anyway, Fambolem, I've been on a particular thing in which I say, you see something in a routine. This first lady, she's on the record for interfering with the party business, the party structure. They talk about the Sierra Leone People's Party, whether they go down well with everybody. She's also on record for interfering with government business. Sometimes it come out in the talk and interfere, waiting a government in your talk, na day it can come inside and begin for talk. And this not in business at all. I make it hearing on social media. She is not an elected official. That's exactly why people say this, that she's not an elected official. And the fact that she's not an elected official means enough for the dice itself inside government in talk. A need for understand in position, a need for understand in relationship with the presidency and the people vis-a-vis the government. There has to be a line. But most times she's cut out. Well, let me say, this is the nature of the first lady. But what then the first lady can do or the office can do? Now for plot out something thoroughly, we will make them super active because she look by all measures for be a very proactive first lady. We always want to get hands-on and we always need the television or microphone for talk. After all, she came from the background of an actress, always they read script and believe say, she for talk. So maybe we can put that to use in a positive way. But when you involve yourself in government, that is just absolutely wrong. So the first lady at some point go on for say, they talk as Fatima, and you get to realize the reason why he talks so. Because of all the accusation there. I remember I tell you say, social media don't get under the first lady's skin. And you know, for pretend like you know they listen. Of course she does listen. Of course some people, of course they listen. Fatima is a show woman. Fatima na a former actress or na in profession now an actress. So yes, she does listen. And when he talk, you know, say baby, they listen. Of course, she gave away inside the same talk. Anyway, Fambulem, I think say we get a caller na the line. I will get to the caller shortly. Let me hear you waiting this caller. Get for say. Caller, you are live. What is your contribution to this program, please?
Yeah, thank you very much. This is Brother Superman. I just want to not small number because it's a very important program we talk about. And I want to just bring come to your audience and listening as them say. This is the second controversial speech this way. The first day they don't make in recent weeks. I remember if people were correct, recently we go to Gambia as well, where in speech insinuates as if Sierra Leone reduced the most salon account giving the woman a half. You know, she passed with Gambia here for which they continue to come salon, they think roughly, you know. That is very, very sad because we in agriculture, we Sierra Leoneans are very respectful to women them in authority because we try to make sure we encourage them, make them do well. And if you look down history, we always very, very expected to first ladies them. So for any first lady, somehow they come and put down salon people, it really disappointing and you know, something needs to be done about it. Maybe people at the party, at the SFP party or the husband. Because the call for mob justice, I want to bring down attention to something with this current administration. Mob justice does somehow take place. If I remember, that place by then teacher, they know they also for alleged corruption. They don't go there for what's like any court of law to the anti-corruption commissioner, because parody like continuity and cuff them, put them in court by them, say they're like criminal like this, we want to go through the due process it. And remember, the president became some sort of rebuke the anti-corruption commissioner. So again, maybe you would expect the president, you know, it's very difficult. This Lion partner, but for if could make a statement like that and they threaten the security forces in the country. I mean, this is very, very serious. I believe saying the party, the SFP party, and the first gentleman, the president of the republic, they need to do something or talk to the people for address them to they would maybe apologize on behalf of the first lady, or maybe say will come and try to quantify a message in the way people understand. So really, you know, the way how people understand, because the way he talk, the way people clear like Creole, we all understand Creole. And the way he talk, it really the meaning to this 21st system. And what they depend on at this crucial time. Don't forget to when make this public health emergency system. Sometimes this thing can come. And then people will rely on to make sure say them patrol the authorities, patrol the country, make sure say them make the people in the country empower the laws them. You know, for enforcing, many people will follow the laws them. And the first thing don't begin put them down, don't begin to pick them. You know, it's very, very worrying and troubling. And we don't see this pattern they come from the first lady. Like what's about this like the second speeches in recent weeks where it's attack Sierra Leoneans. You know, they tell us some people don't like for talk to tell them it. This is in a generalized, which is very, very sad and worrying because some people and there are millions of people, you know, put you inside one basket, say all man don't like for you eat through. That is very, very disrespectful to the people who put him and his husband in that top place to win this. You know, the least they can do now for sure some respect and appreciation to these people. You see, so now make a better law they come. I want to take it plenty when they sensitize people in parliament topic there because it's very important. Let people understand it's not about politics, it's not about politics because some people are big parties, so we get plenty people all about the country as well. You know, I'm also saying this gladly, now the party for the Glencan constant and continuous rebuke there because when first saying rebuke all man at Shalom, it looks like all man, don't necessarily like SFP, it's a type of put all man down. Okay. And that is not right. That is not right. I mean, I know some people some people feel loyal, say, oh, like SFP, but whatever, I don't support them. But we see a support for that in parent mind. This is not the 21st century. It doesn't matter if like young people like brother or sister, you know, say they do something, we're not good for the general good, you know, they're not for talking. Okay. So, you know, it's.
Okay, my brother. I think you made a point, and the point very strong. I can see the appreciation at the chat room. Pato. So the first lady, they troll you, yeah? Mr. Mansare, I don't put the number there. It's 07740107250. If you call from outside, it's you get for add the country code the 44, yeah. But the number then at the chat room 07740107250. And just before you go, caller, do you think that there can be a turnaround? Because you know, sometimes you can be made, you can be polished, like in the Western world, they can see your strength and your weakness, and then they work on the weakness and present you to the people. Do you think there's a chance of this kind for the first lady?
Well, it has to be, because the first lady get for understanding, he get for always see it as part of your official role. Now for the show appreciation to the people then. Now for sure appreciation to the people, and then people there bring come your husband to power for governing. Like if they get for Koboku Afafwet's concept, and for appreciate him and for encourage them, talk to them, and try to make sure say you give us support, like extra support to the people and say, I know say these are many challenges. There are plenty going on at the world elect today. You know, one of the things I want to mention at all now mob justice. Because any time at the world where mob justice, they chaos for the anarchy. You know, the anarchy, they like some governments then. You know, that are the last two they remember about. And for any they talk them up one, so you know, they really want the people are really worried that the country. If you saw it up, they go learn from them too, maybe mistake there. And try to make sure say you know what you talk. You know, in the same statement, it make even a mistake statement, they say the one of Africa, no country not going away, no country not the way that secret not going. That's I don't know. And that is factually untrue. There are few countries, so let's say them about countries, but few countries in Africa will not get that secret. So all them things they need for make sure when they say something, that something will get back into them as well. You know, not to Kalamo can talk something.
Okay, my dear friend. Thank you very much for your contribution. The question was anyway whether there is a possibility of a turnaround for this first lady, because she seemed very much like a proactive first lady. Possibly they talk, we like the limelight, they like the stage, and like in the Western world, you get them public relation team, them where can actually polish people them up, we can look at people's strengths and their weaknesses, and then capitalize on the strength and update the weaknesses and make them, you know, a force for reckoning with. Well, thank you so much for your contribution, my brother, as usual. And I believe, say, you are Superman calling from London.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you very much, my brother.
Thank you for your contribution as usual, and goodbye. Okay, family, that was just a contribution there from a friend and a brother. And somebody just asked whether the number they online. Yes, I just put the number up. So if you want to call, you can call and make a contribution. And it's 077 40107250. If you call from abroad, don't forget the country code 44. Fabulous. For those of you who just to join the forum right now or the platform right now, we they try for disentangle, we they try for unpack Lady Fatima Bio in statement we make quite recently, we don't cause some serious havoc around the world. So let's go back to this quickly. So the first lady say, are they talk as Fatima Bio? Remember saying a monologue. I mean a dialogue now you get. It say there was no question. Yeah, there was no questions anyway. It say me Fatima Bio they talk, or are they talk as Fatima Bio? It sounds almost like when you question about Nato itself. And if they try for identify and send a message, okay? Like we a reporter will normally ask her. After all that talk, they will don't unpack, we will don't analyze. They say, are they talk as Fatima Bio? And just before the caller, they say the reason why they say so. Okay, I think this is another caller. Hello?
Hello?
Yeah?
Is this on the show?
Oh, yeah, it's on the show. I guess you want to make a contribution. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, hold the line, please. The calls are flowing in now. Hold the line for me, please. Just 1 minute there. Yeah, you're welcome. So we've got like 3 callers kind of waiting. We've got one. Let's see. Okay, caller, you are live. Will you identify yourself, where you're calling from? Sounds like your first-time caller, please.
Yeah, I'm in Ali, so I call from London.
You say what's the name again, please?
Elise,
Okay, go ahead and make your contribution, please.
concerning waiting the first lady or how we behave, I mean, if you say you're a first lady, you forget some amount of integrity.
Yeah.
Hello?
Yes, you're live. You're live.
Yeah, you forget some amount of integrity in you said we become address the nation. And if you think that you're not of a nation, you know, for just come and then talk there and see their union and make it what we didn't have about not the way because if the law be the permit to we for charge and to cost for some of the words the way they say, because it is set in office for like a PTI fair unions, and they don't think that it will get all with them. And it's not happening anymore. This now the social media, they wide awake and journalists and they wide awake. Not anyone's anything to say, don't leave London and things to say, it will just use things towards them as their union. That's really, really bad, to be honest. So you need for mind towards them. And these people they address her as Fatima. So me I address her as Fatima. Fatima need for mind towards the way they address their union. And we are all in a way can do. And it may give people a chance when they work on the office every for exercise there's no franchise. Not because you don't name Fatima, I think to say because he keep mad at you. Or no, we president, His Excellency, I always respect them. Things say for use in power for abuse union. That's a big contribution.
Just before you go, I mean, you made your point, you know, you're very powerful, and the world they hear you, and people that subsequently hear you as they watch the tape. Obviously, it's been blunder after blunder from the first lady.
Exactly. Thank you for reminding me of that day, because it did one consecutively. Then it sounded like it did one like for Obama, Salon people and face say, I can do whatever I feel for do. Nobody don't get a hold over me. But at the same time, it just the show itself what I deny my rules. Because if a person get control over then they are not for the go on and on. Because if I realize saying that then people there we put on our power and we said deserve some amount of respect. So when they can talk to the public, if we know how they can talk like a mama, you know mean because I get one habit anytime they talk things there, when they say for correction at the media, if they can go backwards for saying like I don't hear it to say I don't give a damn, I'm going to say more. So I mean it's for reframe from that attitude that because our first lady, make it observe, make it I don't know the right word for saying that, make it work like office. They work with integrity because it represents a whole nation where we all come on. That's a big contribution.
That's a powerful contribution, and that goes directly to the first lady. And all this call and the try for saying is the first lady need to pull back and show some humility and show some dignity and respect to the Sierra Leonean people. Thank you very much.
Yeah, definitely. Because once you are performing arts, where you would get degrees and you say you the act. You're eating to say you because you rule, you feel say you are for rule the world. No, waiting for people that get waiting and call. We don't need for call waiting and we get. So not just performing as some of you get. So not thing to say. I mean, you know, it behave like something like one they don't be educated and in village. So you want for calls like everybody know. Sorry, I'm not being rude, but I mean, it is take we to certain things that we make we talk what they will not for talk.
No worries at all. Thank you very much, and God bless you.
You're welcome.
Share this video around for us. Thank you.
I definitely do.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, that was a first-time caller. They called from London, and a message very powerful, precise, and to the point, directly to the First Lady. And no hard feelings, no offense, just saying it as it is. And there have been a series of calls that we miss while the lady will speak. Let me see whether we can reverse some of them charges they for the calls that we will get when they come in. We will soon finish the program, by the way.
Hello?
Yes, caller, I guess you want to make a contribution to the show.
That's right. Yes, that's very correct. Yeah.
We are identifying ourselves. What's your name? What's the call from, sir?
Right. My name is Bangali Mansare. I call from London.
Okay, Mr. Mansare, you've got the floor, sir. Which one are you?
Right. First of all, the issue of Fatima Bio. First thing, which you would try to talk as Sierra Leoneans, we're not talk here as party or whatever. Now we talk as Sierra Leoneans, and all Sierra Leoneans will come together and speak in one voice in terms of anybody where one for bring anybody where one for bring any problem na salon where they disrespect any Sierra Leonean for stand against that person there, especially where Fatima we don't get videos them audios them where incessant don't talk say in Gambia, right? We don't get no problem with that. We don't get any issue with that. But for the fact that it continuously abuse and insult Sierra Leoneans them, Fatima for no say, first of all, a first lady office that salon, not a legal office. Nobody no vote for her. Now a man, now a president, a man, now a old position at the country. And Fatima, if you carry on with this, we say so would they get a campaign where would they insult Gambians them. Anytime we say them, they would do that. For black this person return, would they do that? If na Gambian to pass Sierra Leone, first of all, Fatima will say Sierra Leone and Gambian there, not to contemporaries them. Salon they come.
Mr. Mansai, sorry for interjecting. I mean, we can't punish people collectively. The entire Gambian nation not will take the responsibility for waiting First Lady Fatima Bio to do. For let we turn with anger at the entire Gambian population simply because of this First Lady. Collective justice, I mean, it's not something that is appreciated.
That's right. I understand where you come from, but maybe then we'll talk to us and say, listen, you don't bring shame to we. So you better stop now because he no one stop. I think I'm not to the first or second or three times this way they do it. If you go back, since 1 year, 8 months now or 9 months, Fatima they continuously do things there where it's not supposed to do. And Fatima is not a teenager. Fatima is nearly 45 or 47, right? Now, maybe you are get 27-year-old or 25-year-old kid, you don't talk anymore, not to we talk. If Fatima they carry on for do this, would they for do things that are salon to ram, we go make it on the way that salon go to Gambia, where it claims that it commode. I mean, let us not put this into any political thing or political correctness. But someone that she's on bearable. What people that people are fortunate maybe it feels it get power, we will make it in sort of whole nation. It's not right. We know that what in a way inside they live that way they take benefit. You know how first lady they will not ever see them on the spotlight. Never. We will not ever see them even on TV. But they need a corner. They need a corner. Then they do their own small thing. When nobody don't know about until you go to their website before you know this. So one thing when you want to call for Sierra Leoneans there, especially the woman there, right? Therefore, lead a campaign against Fatima. Say, Fatima, listen, the marriage you can't marry. Anybody will come marry any host. You know they can't take over the host day, especially a family house. So salon is family house. Right?
Mr. Mansari, how do you think, I mean, the suggestions are taken on board, but how do you think the kind of thing they have to work where the country is so divisive? Because even the statements where the people make, if you watch all over social media, you will see people that get different take on them, and you get people that when they back up to the hilt, we say, he lies. Even poverty is saying we're completely not right, and it's an insult to the Sierra Leonean people. How can this solution really make it work?
Well, because there are few people there. Of course, we must get few people there. We will always talk say this right. We must get that few people there.
This is out of 7 million people left. Now, probably about 100 or 200 people left within our social media. Emmanuel, in one for them, they answer that today, social media, in a one for them. But one thing where people forget is this campaign, social media is very, very strong right now. You can even go to the State House website or the government website for tell them to say, when things happen, will not appreciate them. You know, this that for stop and for stop immediately. If they're not able to control Fatima, maybe they send her to Gambia, might not be able to go meet her there. Now, but you know they can't insult we.
Somebody say Fatima, they can bring war between Gambia and Salone, and that goes to what you say. But just a quick one, just a quick one before I let you go. Thank you so much for your contribution. The key issue now for this program here tonight, of course, what you say, what everybody don't say, now the condescending and patronizing attitude of the First Lady allegedly, circumstances to what people. The mob justice, where you say, you will let for touch on that.
Fatima, first of all, like illiterate, you don't even know what's in a mob justice. Maybe they read and they talk on some side or whatever. Honestly, and I can talk in front of her. Because if you know what's in a mob justice, you know go talk that one day. So that's the first thing. And the worst of it, what do you make Fatima they do this? Because he don't put Madam Bio under a leg. So he know it feels the way put Madam Bio under a leg. That's why they put Sierra under a leg. Now Madam Bio able to control that host. Make control that host anyhow you want time. Not to business that one day. If you want to put her at the box. But the thing, because you don't use that one day, it feels like able to control Madam Bio. Now Madam Bio not able to talk. If you want to save self, now in they make Madam Bio not able to talk because you don't put her. We're not to business that one day. The problem here is Fatima for let's go Sierra issues. He not to cancel off. He not to MP. He not to anybody in the country. He not nothing. He's just nothing. Many people that even stop for calling Fatima. I mean, First Lady, because he not deserve that position. If he wants, let it go back to the country. He cannot just insult a whole nation. When the nation not be nothing. At this time, where from where they carry inside power. One thing they don't point, anything said that this they don't do. Nothing. Anything they put on a shame. And anything they Fatima open the mouth, a problem. Let's say that they got shredded. The same thing, Madam Bio. Anytime Madam Bio open the mouth, it's open the marriage. They're not able to perform the marriage properly. That's also shame like commodity. But they're able to business. The thing is, Fatima needs to go back to the country. If Madam Bio wants, everybody go meet her this. That's complete nonsense.
Okay, we go end on that note today. Thank you very much, sir, for your contribution. What's our contribution? Very powerfully said. And just for a recap on that quickly, the border they say Sierra Leonean people need to make known to the First Lady that this action of ours, especially the women there, this action of ours will no longer be tolerated, and they need to make their voices heard. That it can't continue to speak to them in a derogatory manner any longer. Enough is enough. Thank you so much, my brother. That was
no problem.
Mr. Bangali Basare calling from London. Okay. So Fambulem, the calls are coming in. We missed a couple of calls. We will see when they call back, and then we will try for answer them. But for now, only two-way navigate. So back quickly to Musa Abinde. The First Lady say, "Na me they talk, Fatima," and he refer to himself as Fatima. And would they say there's a reason why he say, "Na me Fatima they talk," and the reason why he say so because so many times it is straight into government business. The talk we not belong to them, where he really not supposed to say. He just need to wait. If you see something, complain, tell him, man. Authorities, but sometimes she talks and take a position as if she's an elected official or responsible for certain actions. Them like this justice thing where you talk. That's totally uncalled for. And Fambulem, those of you that are in support of the First Lady, there's nothing wrong being in support of the First Lady. But when the First Lady veer off course, like what they do, this is not her business publicly for decide whose kind of punishment shall be meted out, and especially the kind of punishment where they refer to. Because even if the punishment be there within the remit of the law, that would have been completely different, and people therefore will not understand, say, well, at least what they say, now within the law say, or then we'll take the people into the law, and there's a way for them for say, but in say, we go begin for mob justice una just now. Then una sit on the back such a statement, simply because you're supporting the First Lady. Do you think critiquing the First Lady implied that I am not supporting the First Lady. Do you know how much I wish for her to succeed? Do you know how much I wish for her to take a back step and just look at things, here with a different sort of prism? Absorb your surrounding, try to understand the nature of your people and before speaking to them, show them some respect, exercise restraint. So he said, I'm the talk as Fatima. And I know say when they can't come out just now for cost me. Yeah, that's what the First Lady said. I know say when they can't come out just now for cost me. And but me cost they do nothing to me. Then turn around and say, well, I'm not coming on a cost us. You won't even be talking about it. And the thing what been to say, the mommy they watch social media. This is exactly what I'm talking about. She is watching social media. She's consumed with social media. Yeah, she's consumed. She's obsessed with. She's an actress. She read scripts, many scripts. She acted on motion pictures. So this not in kind thing. So there's a contradiction of message there, the way they say, me not get time for social media. No, fabulem. I tell you now, social media are the weapon of the century. This is a weapon of mass destruction, okay? This is a weapon of mass destruction. Whether or not the simile way you want, of course, I know they talk about if we talk about it, then of course, I mean them in that sense, they're not in the literary sense. But this is not the weapon of choice. The great president of the United States, Donald Trump, some of the problem where he gets with the people, I mean the press, the only entity that is called the Fourth Estate, which is written down, or you can find inside the United States Constitution, is the press of the United States. And they've been as such for over 100 years until the coming of Donald Trump. Do you know what Donald Trump did? We asked them today, when they ever forgive him? He take this thing, telephone, okay? He pushed them all aside. He used this for communicates directly to the American people. And just go on Twitter page. He get tens of millions of followers. So now he they use for communicate. The traditional press at the State House or the White House, it passed 12 months. The whole kind press briefing a day. Now we don't become reactive again because it became necessary because he involved other people. But single-handedly, the man changed all things from that formal press to just the use of the telephone and communicate directly to the American people. So don't listen to government officials, other powerful people when they try to make social media redundant, because after all, they self they use. This current president of Turkey, Recep Tayyip Erdogan, around 2 years ago, this social media, FaceTime, now in Savor. They imagine massive country like Turkey, they overthrow the president, they don't take over strategic locations. The man launched a campaign back because he be able for using phone, FaceTime, and begin for talk to other general them, and then turn the coup over. The point that they try to make, there is some disdain about officials of government, very powerful people. Very powerful people. They're upset. What are they upset about? Because they get access to conventional press, conventional written, print media, television media. But the idea, things don't turn around, that the media where they control, let's say state media, let's say AYTV, for example, okay? It's no longer the same because millions of us, we get access to telephone, we get access to media. We can generate with your media. Listen to what the First Lady say for tell you how much it listen and how it don't become disdainful. She spoke like somebody who deeply hurt. And when I go back, when I go listen, please, okay? Because there's a mismatch. It say, the course, come on a course home, and then they can't begin course and just not for this thing the way you say. But imagine if she had said the right things, would I go one course? Would I go one course? Okay? If we begin for catch una, this is the most controversial part on the entire statement. If we begin for catch una, we dey begin for mob justice una. Now, una where they back that statement there, after all waiting we don't talk about, after all the listen, we una don't listen. This not a joke statement. It come up from a very powerful woman, and she made it known and clear. If we begin for catch una, just look at in context of Usa we come out, or all the thing the way you say, una when they say, go listen to the speech. I mean, it beggars belief because when you account for reason, after I go listen back and back and back and back, I saw nothing new. And even one sister comments na social media say, well, I've had a look myself, I've had a listen, and I'm not seeing nothing new, nothing not change this perception. But for argument's sake, you go back and go look, and who side the mommy being come up from? Now the same thing. Now he make this statement that when we catch you now, after all what he don't talk, threatening officers and people in uniform, spoken to people condescendingly, and disrespect, and the rest of it, and then you go, where we catch you now, and I they quote this. If we begin for catch una, we they begin for mob justice una, quote unquote. And this is where we are. And this is why I took a difference to the statement where people they want to argue, say, when I forgot listen, the broader picture and wait even try for say, does that justify using this content? There is a charge in international law, something they call incite. If something was to happen, Father forbid, it's not going to happen. And I trust not to that. Seriously, mean I will no more wait in talk when I did that one day. But of course, we don't see previous leaders then. By virtue of waiting in the same, because they get something when they call the bully pulpit. That means they get this powerful place of bullhorn, who side they speak and they get thousands, hundreds of thousands, in some cases, millions of people where they listen. Like Donald Trump, for example, can make a statement and people then go listen to the statement. And if you urge them to go do something, they get people them, of course, where they go do them. So Lady Fatima get a similar pedigree that when they talk something, there is some power being waiting it is say. It able for shake things, it able for shape things. This is not an ordinary woman, okay? This is the first lady of a nation. She's got the ears of the president, okay? Of course she advises her husband. Of course she makes some decisions. She don't come out and say them, but you can't tell me over dinner here, man, and all, yeah, they talk about issues, somebody tell for tell me today, and blah, blah, blah. And you man not go vex me. If the woman tell me, of course I go vex, and it's like, would I do that? Okay? So now that is we'll go begin mob justice, una. This is where she showed the disdain for social media, as I've been saying. Una sit down, na una toilet them. Una listen to this, oh. Una sit down na una toilet them. This is the kind of vitriol where we direct at people them like me. Because now we all, they into social media. It may not be me in particular, but just generally maybe people that we know about, but you not even need for know about social media generally, in fact. She said this, the first lady of the country. Una sit down na una toilet them. I mean, just one let we get that, and I make her repeat them for effect, yeah? For effect. We are focused, and then you turn around. See how I talk about how incoherent this thing was. Una sit down na una toilet them. Of course, there were certain things she said after that, but I'll just go on and say, we are focused and we are together. So you try to remember, now we don't have this we now. We are focused and we are together. Who is this we that are focused? After all said and done, and who is this we that are together? Sound like a very divisive message. It sounds like an incoherent sort of message where sort of carry some confusion, real confusion, to be honest, because what people were reading to this, now it make, again, I go advise that in policy people them, in planners them, in aid them, in PA them need for come out, and then they can explain to the Sierra Leonean people, but the best thing they can do while they try to explain all what the first lady mean, and for first of all, apologize, explain in context what it mean by this word we don't cause the uproar among everything else. We go mob justice now. That nature we police people them. We men in uniform, our men in arms. or men where the taxpayer then they pay, where we people employ, where the government employ, where we people and they pay. Okay, we are focused, we are in this together. Una not even reach me half finger. Una not even reach me half finger. So you see the degree of narcissism. What you mean by this is all about herself, the obsession, the infatuation, within self. And this is what we're saying. And these are the kind of words that the First Lady used. These are, if not been just an ordinary person, maybe enough for being talk or for being fan, degrading words for use, but I still get some respect for the office and the woman. So I feel difficult to define the way I want to define. This is not what a First Lady says or should be saying. When I not even reach me half finger. President Bio na in normal na Sierra Leonean. Now he asks this question with regard to all what he don't say. Whether President Bio na if na normal na Sierra. This is honestly, this is kind of laughable at this point. To be honest, she gone for call the media fake news. Them, really at that point she got irritated, visibly irritated by voicing everything. She was irritated, completely now upset, and she couldn't hold back, so she allowed to let go. Now President Bio Norman as Sierra Leonean, fake news media clearly getting fake news media them, and just sit down and not even reach me half finger them, sit down and then half toilets them, and the rest of it. So you see that the thing get under the mommy's skin. And anyway, towards the end, it tried for being reconciliatory, just like how it began the program. Now, so it tried for being reconciliatory towards the very end of the thing, the way we call an outburst. It was a complete outburst by the of the Republic. Yeah, so she did try for being reconciliatory, and but then after the Makituman the trader demo, the police people demo, they're all been on to them under the bus. So it tried for main fences towards the end. But you see how difficult it is, because how you get for management now in just make everything else, kind of difficult. Take one more caller before we go. Hello, caller. Hello.
Yes, good evening. This is Lampia calling from Holland.
Yeah, hold on. You want? Okay. I'll just stay right there. Just stay right there. So, Fambul, and we get one more caller. And I believe we will take this last call for tonight before we end the program. Okay, caller, will you please introduce yourself again and where you're calling from, please?
This is Lampia calling the call from Holland.
Okay.
I just thank you very much for having the program.
Thank you very much.
Well, Mr. I listened to the First Lady speech. It's very, very surprising and degrading to all Sierra Leoneans. I understand the kind of way we said it come from, because we put rules of law in the country, we don't put for respect. Yeah. But in a woman we be say that in mama for the country, we don't expect her to make it begin then divisive messages here. Una and we. We all know how the country that was during the war. Yeah. And for the First Lady for promote mob justice, is undone. Yeah. It's not done at all. Understand? And this woman, they get no say, just like what most people they saw. So in office where he cared, not elected somebody. We get rule of law, get people who elect. It undermine the Minister of Interior, maybe say na under the police and it undermine them, do their own duties. This woman feels say the president and the secretary party, they never put up under control, but tell us say na this people do, na this people say. Understand it? And remember, I listened in Christmas speech again. In Christmas speech, where very good speech, they tried intention cool, but you also have to talk. Mm-hmm. In the way talk say on behalf of the government, No, we don't elect, not a government elect, not a government elected somebody, not the spokesman for the government. Yeah. So if they can make a giveaway, Christmas wishes on behalf of himself or at most on behalf of his family. Yeah. Who are the president in there? Not on behalf of the government of Sierra Leone.
They can even say in behalf of the office of the
Yes,
president,
exactly.
not the government
Exactly.
of the republic. Yeah.
Not the government, but most of it, they always talk like the government of Sierra Leone. My brother, I tell you today, if you want to go to business as a salon, don't go register under any other ministry. If you go to the minister of the first lady office, register in London, that's who we elect. We not elect her. We see people in the body. The first thing they do for call Fatima. Fatima, not to English salon. With all good intention, some campaign and they women's campaign they are support her. But they know how they do things, they know how they talk to people, they know say office will bring people together. Sierra Leoneans together. You understand that? Sierra Leone is very fragile right now. 10 years hold on, done the civil war. You don't fight for bringing kind of languages in the republic again. You don't fight, you not good.
Okay.
You understand? Fatima, make them push her, make them try to push her out of talking about public. How to talk to the public. We get Minister of Interior, we get Chief of Police, we get Minister of Defense. Let people do their work. Make you know just talk, plenty. Like say, I don't know. I respect and I know I'm not going to use actions there. But make all patient with her, make we hope say you don't learn a lesson. We hope say you don't learn a lesson.
No worries at all, my brother. Thank you very much for calling all the way from Holland. We do respect the effort you make. Please spread the good news about then and now in Holland, and please share this video. Thank you so much. That was a caller from Holland. Now, done with it and done the program. So, I just want to read a few comments there. Obviously, that will be fair enough. Missy Mavi, Missy J Mob, Missy J. Mob justice is when a person suspected to be a criminal. Take note of the keyword suspected of being a criminal is beaten by a group with bombs, stones, machetes, or anything they can lay their hands on. In some cases, the alleged criminal dies in the process due to excessive beating. Okay, and the sister goes on and on. In other words, it is time for waiting at the mob justice, but relate them to the fact that the first lady could say that. Is this what she's calling for on our uniform officers, that there will be mob justice, because it is in quotes that we will mob justice on us. So this is just to highlight the meaning of mob justice, where we started from. Fatima Bio on YouTube. Jacinda, sister Jacinda. Just type Fatima Bio on YouTube and you will okay, as remarks were disgusting. Of course, those remarks were really uncalled for by the First Lady, Johnny Blizzard. What's her name on YouTube? Okay, Sister Jacinda made a response to the name on it. The damage was done. Of course, the damage is done. Part to check the Marconi Times on Facebook. And if I go down the page, when I will see the full interview, there is the edited version, and then the full interview is there on my social media page, Facebook page. So, ladies and gentlemen, now that will be the same. So, in the end, she tried to be reconciliatory. Okay. In the end, First Lady tried to be reconciliatory, but by then, damage was done, like one of the sisters say at Tina Shiba concept. The damage was done. Okay, after I run to everybody under the plane, it then decided for sound a little bit more cheerful, and relax, and even a little bit of a smile and a laugh. And then with the word one country, one people. When you say the one country, one people, of course, now the SLPP mantra, but I guess she meant it like we are all, the entire 7 point some more million people of Sierra Leone, we are all one people and we all belong to one country. But even a 14-year-old Pekin make comments to the First Lady. This is when you begin to take it very, very seriously, Madam First Lady. A 14-year-old Pekin make comments. So this is not a joke anymore, Madam First Lady. This is a very serious thing, and you need to pay attention and listen, because after all, there is something that says the voice of the people is the voice of God. Whenever you hear a lot of people, they talk so, to the scriptural people, biblical people, they say, now the voice of God. And the voice of God is something we for heed to. Just before we finish this program, because this is the end of the program, and I thank everybody for listening. We will always disagree for agree, or agree and disagree, but in the end, it should spell out some kind of agreement. One we bought, I think, bought a Bengali Mansari, just make the point, yeah, earlier unclear. There's a lot of things that the First Lady do that is hurting a lot of Sierra Leoneans there, because it shows some indignity towards them. That the First Lady, the office of the First Lady, people keep spelling this. And the last brother we called from Holland equally says so, because there are mistakes on the part of the First Lady many a times, and she needs to be corrected. But if they come back again and do the same thing, I don't know whether they expect a different result when you do the same thing. That's the definition of something, again, I'm not going to name. But it is on record for saying on behalf of the government, or in behalf of the government, no, in behalf of my husband, on behalf of the office of the First Lady, on behalf of the people, not the government. You are not an elected official. So I think they can make the mistake that they. This again is a giveaway. It shows she might have these good intentions, to want to do good to the country, but she's alienating herself from the country. Madam Fatima, mob justice is the rule of injustice, is the rule of extrajudicial affairs. That's outside the rule of law. And if you they call for that, what they mean is you man in administration. It's a lawless administration in which it is the rule of mob justice, mob rule. When mobs rule, what they apply now mob justice, where now jungle justice, where Uda able in company can run after in company, smooth them, do whatever, force things out of them, and the rest of it. And I guess this is not the way you want to describe it. My guess is this is not what you actually meant. But choice of words can be dangerous. And you are not a small woman in the sense that you are a very powerful woman. You word get weight. That's why you have to be careful. But like a lady we call earlier say, it has become a routine. Every time you say something, and then American man gets something where they can say, you double down. Sometimes once, instead of you back out, you double down once. Sometimes you double down twice again. The same woman say that. It has become a routine. You don't take a step back, take a deep breath, have a reflection, a period of reflection and inflection, and see whether I was right. Listen to your people then. Not just go with waiting you've been told by you people and with around you, or waiting definitely good day now you heard, which is, well, now the one that now APC them. Now the one that will hate me, man. Also the one that will hate you, the one that will hate me, man. So then the direct that hates day towards me. That does not solve the problem. You are the First Lady, the Kumbra, the mama for the nation. Just like how mama can take time with him picking them, and Kumbra needed to way bad picking a bush, which is a good advice for you, Madam First Lady. You need for tamper down. It's not too late. It's 3 years to go. That 3 years there, you can turn things around and become the best First Lady that this country never had. On this note, I think say a need for left. I've said enough. We will continue for highlight things then which are of significance to the nation. We've got no ill feelings towards anybody when we speak. Is in behalf of the people. I speak country first, okay? I don't support unconditionally. I just want to talk about issues. And issues have I spoken about here tonight. And the truth shall set you free. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for listening. And on behalf, okay, of the Then and Now program, I hope say una go share this broadcast worldwide, and I will be back again during the course of the week. Remember, say coronavirus is serious. Coronavirus is there. Coronavirus is real, and you need to look after yourself and your family. I listened to one tape. You know, New York is known as the city that never sleeps. And those have been want to talk about Corona. Now, forgive me, just about 5 minutes. I say the epicenter of this entire virus, it will be America. I made the prediction some time ago, and on the basis of poverty, because half of the people in America, despite the richest country on earth, live in poverty. Not in extreme poverty, but poverty. Tens of millions don't have access to health care. And when you put the two combinations together, it's a recipe for a disaster. This is what I said. So America therefore suffer one of the most. Imagine New York that never sleeps. I watch New York on tape. I watch Times Square. I watch downtown Manhattan. It's like, wow, seriously? All that thing and they make me say afraid, bad one. Before I say Usa I leave Naya, that the streets are empty. Officers I work with thousands of people on a given day, 3,005 to 4,005 people in the office. I was there just about 2 days ago, 3 days ago. Zero. When I say zero, zero apart from me and others, and few others. Zero. So fearful. So coronavirus is serious. It exists. You see, they will not just look at the controversy when they come around them. I tried talking about them the other day. I tried for being a friend. Unfortunately, I don't be able to get her. So we know say viruses are living and non-living matter. Living and non-living. And they either get an RNA or a DNA. But they are enlaced or they get inside them a genetic material inside the protein. And they can't really reproduce, neither can they make their own food, this coronavirus. Like, because it need a host, it need a carrier. Like when it can inside we so now, it go able for reproduce because in we, it will find food and other things there. So it will survive. Now, you hear about surfaces, like if for donor surface, after a while, it dies off because there's no food. It's unable to reproduce because there is no food, okay? So you can understand why governments and authorities, where we supposed to listen to, the advisory for stay apart from we self, whether 2 feet, which is about 6 meters away from each other, which is necessary because the closer you get, the more risk you run, and how to avoid gatherings of people, where governments them around the world, they take measures for curb that. We also need for no say, now this life where we live, we get a large group of viruses, okay? And Corona-19, COVID-19, it belongs to this large group of viruses. But COVID-19 don't mutate in a natural strain. And that natural strain then concludes, say, this is not the science now they talk about. Because, you know, this rumor when they go around, like a possible, say, now the creation, now laboratory, and then they release them, you know, here to humanity, you get to ask yourself, would that really it will benefit? As at this time, it can't benefit the United States government. If they say the United States government, they try to attack China with them. It can't benefit China if they say that China now release them to the world. We know say economies have slowed down, inflation is up. Some countries they rise to double digits. Currencies, you know, are losing their values. The prices of properties, housing in the Western world is on a nosedive. Nobody's advised to buy. So it doesn't really profit anybody. Of course, if they find a vaccine, it will have profited the pharmaceutical industry. But unfortunately, this is not the case. Okay? So what we do know about the science, which is 96.1% correct because of this strain we exist in bats according to the science, okay? So even when I do this hypothesis, it's based on genetic information where I read up now the Lancet, the British Medical Journal, and etc. So well-given sites for research. And so then have Google site posting their opinion. No, the Lancet, the British Medical Journal, and etc. So the viruses can enter through we, Motamandem, either by snake, because remember when it began at that place in China, we already talked. Say that the wild market, starting to sell wild animals like snake and bats, and Chinese then go one animal when they call pangolin. And the first case, they found an inside animal, and remember say it begin inside China. But when you talk about viruses, and when people like point out to this conspiracy theory, we can hear some bearing of fact, is because they can also create viruses inside a lab. About 10 years ago, now a university in Alberta, Canada, the smallpox virus, because remember, you know what this means, which means that if you develop an lab and smallpox, what they talk about, which means that you can allow it for go, you can inject person with them. Okay, you see inside the talk that can come out. They actually create smallpox virus inside a lab, now Canada. Now, if you release that to the public, which means that people will become infected with smallpox. Now, you can use that to your advantage because before you release them, you will have found the antidote, you will have the vaccine. So then you're able to make billions, if not trillions of dollars or pounds sterling, depending on what you sell them in. But this wire, $2, they're on the down. Economy, they're not beginning to worry. The impact way it will get. So under this Ebola, this coronavirus, because it's a group of viruses under corona. Inside the US, some time ago, there was a vaccine that was produced, okay, where they help with the antibodies we were able to fit. And a coronavirus, so if you look, you can see some people that can come out with some label them, some pints them, some this, that, the coronavirus. So it's not like this particular strain is new COVID-19, but coronavirus is a group of viruses that does exist, and the United States government did produce vaccine for 8 different types of coronaviruses, where they help develop the antibodies for fight against the infection. Okay, so we need for all of this, and for those of us with in Britain, and in fact all over the world, Famule and Salon, this thing is serious. Not take and make joke. It does exist, Famule. Yeah, it does really, really exist. So not to form when people tell me, say, let we look after ourselves, let we take the precaution, not listen to Jumande and Commande, because a lot of people, cyber experts, and then they on the march, page troller, and then they on the march, they fake people, and crime self, they exist under the period there. So you get to make sure, say, the information where you get, they come up from the right authority, from experts, from your health experts. Those of us in England, listen to the government, listen to government agencies, Public Health England, and do waiting and ask you for do. So family and you are at the big, let we try for protect ourselves, let we make sure say we survive this. Okay? We know say the Prime Minister say people in there for die, of course, but we know 1 billion people in the way for die. People in a salon, listening to our government as our government try for take precaution for protect you. Okay? Like I say, now is the time for listening to authority. Now is the time for a be a related message. Yeah. So on this note, I think say I don't talk about that left now. Thank you very much for listening. Today, the 29th of March, and March 9th, also we come back with other solid program there. The COI, the report, and the double standard, where we don't begin to see in the report. We come with us soon. Thank you so much for listening. And